G'day, I'm Grant Swinburne. Welcome to my channel. I'd just like to take a few moments today to talk to you a little bit about a few scams that I've seen on Instagram and Facebook. Basically, what's happening is people are using stolen accounts to contact people via DM in Instagram and Facebook, and basically trying to con them into parting with their money via a thing called an NFT scam. I'd like to just show you a little bit about how those scams work and how you can protect yourself from getting trapped by one of those scams. Key thing to remember is don't click on any links that somebody that you don't really trust or know sends you. That's the main thing to remember. But there's also a few other tricks and traps which I'll talk to you a little bit about during the video. What I'd like to do now is just take you through how some of the scams work. I apologise to the real Charles Dion Lawrence. Uh, this is just a hacked account, I'm assuming. It may be just a made up account, but I'm assuming it's a hacked account that they're using to try to con me into parting with my money. Basically, the approach is to flatter me into and I guess excite my greed through saying I love your work and I want to buy your work as NFTs. And in this example, he's wanting to buy a collection of my work as NFTs. And as you can read there, they're trying to tell me that they'd like to share my talent with the world, etc. I know where my talent is, and I'm quite capable of doing that myself. As you can see, I've actually told them that I already have NFTs on board. They're on Foundation or OpenSea, but if there's anything specific, happy to mint them for them. I'm talking about a manifold contract here. The manifold contracts allow you to actually control what goes on with your NFTs. 9 times out of 10, that's been enough to scare most of the scammers off that originally started when I first started seeing these. However, that's changed a little bit over time and they've become a little bit more sophisticated. And as you'll see, they're now trying to push me to go to a third party platform, which they claim is the only one that they're going to buy things on. Now, why this would be and why they're not able to buy the NFTs, which are already on a number of other platforms, which just about everybody use, that's a good question. The answer is they're trying to scam you. And the reason I know that is that when you look up pixprimearts.com, all that happens is you come up with a bunch of scam warnings. They're trying to use this site, whatever is in behind it. Most likely it will try to install some malware on your computer or phone and or try to attack or get your private keys for your crypto wallet. Now, the only way that you can actually sell an NFT or buy an NFT is you've actually got to set up a crypto wallet in the first place, and then you've got to do what's called gas transactions. I'll let you look all of these up. I'm not going to describe all of these in detail, but those gas transactions are basically a fee for getting the services done to actually create and mint the NFT in the first place. But also, if you want to sell it, then there's a gas fee involved to both the seller and the buyer. And what this does is it pays for all the compute that goes on behind the scenes to actually drive the blockchain that the NFT's been minted on. So I challenged him after this and said why they can't buy my art from the other platforms, which are the mainstream platforms that literally 99.9% of people use to sell and mint their works. They've came back and said they've lost money on these platforms. I don't think that's true. So I tried to uh, talk to them a little bit about, when I search that platform, the only thing that comes up is scam warnings. They're saying, oh, it's because they've only been around for a month. Now, most sites that I know that have been around for a month, when you set a new site up, it doesn't come up with scam warnings unless there's a real problem with it. I've asked then what makes them any good. I've never seen anyone lose money on the other platforms. And they're going, basically trying to continue the scam to try to get me to click on that link. I'm asking then, what way would they lose money? And they said their wallet got lost while trying to pay the gas fees. Well, I've never heard of that happening. And the only way that's likely to happen is if you're dealing with a scammer yourself, or if you're, for whatever reason, providing your wallet keys, the private key that actually keeps your wallet secure, to somebody else. If you're doing that, then you're off your rocker. The key thing is, if you have a private key, the word private means you keep it private. You do not share that private key with anyone else. So I've told them that makes no sense based on my knowledge of that. And he said, okay, well, it's my decision not to do that. So then I've gone back to them and said, well, I get 2 or 3 of these approaches a week, which is true, on either Instagram or Facebook. This one particular one was on Facebook. And so far, they've been exactly the same script. And I'm interested in why they think they can scam me. And as you can see, if I try to scroll down any further, there's been no further contact. So they've just moved on because they're obviously not going to make any money out of me. Nothing's going to come from my wallet. I'll now show you a variation on this. So as you can see, what they've done here is they've set up a scam website, and what they're trying to do is convince you to click on that link because that's the only way that they can transact. A number of others use other techniques, and this is another interesting one. And again, apologies to the real Ruby Clark. Again, most likely a hacked account on Instagram. Again, starting with the flattery and saying how wonderful my work is and whether or not they're up for sale. So I started off reasonably innocently because they didn't mention NFTs. Yeah, you can get prints online at my website. They're up there, ready to be bought. But they want to buy them in it as NFTs, of course. So I've said, well, you can find what I've got on NFTs on OpenSea or Foundation. And if you're interested in that I haven't minted, I'll do one for you on the manifold contract. And I've said, let me know when you put in a bid. And so they've liked that and said, fine. Then absolutely nothing happened. That was on 6th of April until the 1st of May. So it took a long time for them to get back, almost a full month. And then they said, hello. So I said, hi again. And, they've obviously thought a little bit about how they're going to try to operate this scam. So they've said, are they available on OpenSea, or have I sold them? And I've said, well, they're still available. So send me the link. Sent them the link to my OpenSea. And then they asked for my email, which is interesting because email is not a required piece of information for these transactions. The whole point of the blockchain is that you don't need to transact using other credentials. The credentials of the 2 wallets, the seller's wallet and the buyer's wallet, they communicate over the blockchain. You don't need any other credentials. Once an offer has been made and accepted, the NFT is transferred, and the ETH or whatever the cryptocurrency happens to be will be transferred into the seller's account. So then they've told me that the payment isn't going through. And I've said, Okay, so which ones are you trying to purchase? Noting that for them to buy any of my NFTs, I should get an email from OpenSea telling me that an offer has been made. No such email exists. No such email was found. I was told them they don't need my email. I can see it in my wallet once they've made the offer. Then I got this email, which does look initially like it's from OpenSea. However, when you take a look at the actual email address, it's OpenSea at get-supports.com. Now, if you know anything about OpenSea, they don't use any other URLs other than opensea.io. So if you see an email from somebody that looks like it's from opensea.io, the likelihood is that it is from OpenSea. If it doesn't have opensea.io in the domain, which is this part of the email here, then it's got absolutely nothing to do with OpenSea and is likely to be a scam. So that message tells me that they've reviewed my account and the buyer attempting to make payment. They attempted twice. Again, I've not seen any offers come through on OpenSea, so there's no actual genuine communication from OpenSea to me, the seller, which is the normal case. This is the only communication which I've got. So they cancel the transaction, and apparently they're saying I'm yet to top up my NFT wallet balance. Well, OpenSea doesn't care what my wallet balance is until I accept an offer. Once I accept an offer, then I have to have enough ETH in my wallet to be able to pay the gas fees. It's also telling me my wallet balance is zero. I know my wallet balance is not zero. It's small because I keep it small deliberately so that if I ever lose control of that wallet, I'm losing a very, very small amount of money. But them asking me, or OpenSea asking me to top up my wallet balance to a minimum of zero point 0.3 ETH is something that just doesn't happen. OpenSea do not ask sellers to top up to a certain balance. All they ask is that the gas fee gets paid, and the gas fee needs to be paid through your wallet. And you'll see all of that through your transactions in your wallet. You won't see it from an email from OpenSea asking you to top things up. They go on a little bit more about it, and basically they're a little bit repetitive, but then they start to say some interesting stuff here at the bottom about the the buyer's payment will be burned. Again, that is not something that actually happens. Burning is where the item on the blockchain is effectively destroyed. There's a record that it was created, there's a record that it was transacted to a certain point, but there's also a record saying that it will be no longer valid. That is not something that happens when you don't have enough money to pay for or you don't have enough cryptocurrency to pay for a transaction. What will happen is that the buyer's money will remain in escrow, basically with OpenSea, and then handed back to them, less whatever transactional gas fees have been applied to that transaction, if an offer is not accepted by the seller. So it really comes down to an offer being made, an offer being accepted. Once that's done, then the goods or the NFT being the goods and the money being the cryptocurrency change hands. So the buyer does not lose any money other than a small amount, which is the gas fee for their transaction upfront, which they have to pay regardless of whether a transaction is accepted or not. So once you actually scroll down and read through this in detail, you start to see some of the tells that tell you this is not legitimate, this is a scam. So moving back to the conversation with our friend Ruby, I've said, okay, I can see why the payment didn't work. Let me sort it out and I'll let you, having seen this email, I've gone, okay, I know what they're up to. So I've said, you should be fine. I did absolutely nothing. I made no changes. I didn't top up my wallet. I did not follow any of the instructions. I didn't click on any links. By the way, there was a link in that email that they wanted me to click on to update my, to top up my wallet. The amount that they were looking for was 0.3 ETH. Doesn't sound like a lot, but it's roughly around 800, 900 Aussie dollars, depending on the day that you're looking at that transaction. So, that's the kind of money that they were looking to try and get from me to basically scam me out of. So I've told them, you should be fine now, having done nothing, because I know that there's nothing for me to do unless they're actually making a legitimate offer. So they've said, what was the problem? I've ignored that. You don't have to respond to every question they ask. And I certainly wasn't going to tell them what I'd found and why I wasn't doing anything about it. So I said, which item are you buying? I said, you'll see it. They said, you'll see it when they make the purchase. And I said, well, none of them have actually had an offer made on them yet. Let me know when you put in an offer. And as you can see, that was seen last week. I've heard absolutely nothing from them since. I don't expect to ever hear from Ruby Clark again. What I'm doing now is I'm reporting that. What I normally do is I will report a account and block them. I never really do what I've done here, which is engage with them. The only reason why I've engaged with these two examples is to provide some examples for this video. Normally I wouldn't bother. It's block, report, and move on with life, because these guys are out there to try and take your money. They're not there trying to help you sell your NFTs. So I hope this has helped you understand a little bit about some of these scams, and hopefully it will help somebody protect themselves from being scammed. So things to check: if somebody comes to you via DM, whether it be Facebook or Instagram, the likelihood is they're a scammer looking to buy if they're looking to buy your art via an NFT. Very rare that some legitimate collector will do that. If, on the other hand, you do find one, well, good luck, and that's fantastic. I really hope that that actually works out for some people. However, my experience so far has been literally every single one of these has been a scammer. So watch out, first off, in your DMs. If somebody hits you up asking to buy your work as an NFT, likelihood is it's not legit. Second, if you get emails from OpenSea or Foundation or one of the others, I got a very similar email to the OpenSea one from Foundation, which is, they're the two major marketplaces in the ETH blockchain. If you get emails from them, double check first off where they've actually come from. Are they the legitimate domains for Foundation and OpenSea? If they're not, or they don't look right, or the spelling or the grammar doesn't quite smell right, or they're saying things that are probably not true, such as the buyer is going to lose money somewhere, as I said, that doesn't happen. So the likelihood is that it's a scam also. So, as I say, I really hope this has helped somebody, and I hope that you don't get scammed. And I hope that you are looking at some of these videos and saying, okay, well, these guys literally don't know how the blockchain works, because, to be honest, a lot of their errors that are in there, they're deliberate because they're part of the scam to try and get you to do things that don't happen on the blockchain. Those errors are deliberate because they're trying to scam you. But if you don't know, and they're trying to take advantage of people that don't know how the blockchain works, trying to get people that don't understand NFTs really well and con them into parting with their money. So hopefully this gives you a bit of an overview of some of those. Remember, like, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm going to keep pumping out the video as well as the audio episodes of Landscape Photography World, the podcast that I do. That's going great guns. Got some fantastic guests coming up, so keep an eye on that. Also, feel free to visit my website, grantswinburnphotography.com. You'll find workshops. I'm now doing online tailored editing lessons. So if you want to learn how to edit in Photoshop, and there's specific things that you want to learn or specific things you want me to cover, I can help you find your way through those systems to help your editing become better. I'm also got a couple of workshops coming up, one in September and one in August. Both of those, getting close to being sold out. So if there's a workshop you want to come on, take a look at grantswinburnphotography.com and hit me up, and we'll see you out there shooting soon. Thanks very much.